are my predictions, and this is a little bit crazy. This is a little bit crazy.
Oh, a little bit. We're looking a little bit in the rearview mirror.
What do you mean?
I mean, woo.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Woo. All right.
James Madison is going to lose by 28. I mean,
Okay.
I feel like
I
feel like that's fair.
That's fair.
I don't see a reason why. We'll talk about it a little bit. I honestly think they have the best chance out of the group of 5 teams to win.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'll save that point for later. The game that we just talked about, Alabama-Oklahoma. I see Alabama winning by 13. And I just think the return of Josh Cuevas at tight end and the X factor for me, I know I said the wild card the other day was if Ryan Williams can get involved in this offense. For me, if Jam Miller racks up 80 yards on the ground, Alabama wins this game easy. Like easy.
Yeah, I
can
see that.
The biggest problem with Alabama is that they're so one-dimensional. Ty Simpson last game, I believe, against Oklahoma, threw the ball like 40 times in the first half, and you just cannot win. I've seen the Cowboys long enough in my lifetime to where Dak Prescott used to throw the ball like 45, 50 times a game, and they just wouldn't win. You just cannot win football games this day. Tulane and Ole Miss, and I know a lot of people are like, well, Ole Miss is so distracted, there's just no way. There's too much going on. Trinidad's, not even fully committed to playing this game. I think John Summerall, as much as he wants to sweep it under the bus, I think he's a little bit distracted. He is trying to get to Florida as soon as possible because when you look at the Gators, Lagway's in the portal.
Yeah.
They're starting their dual threat quarterback. Now Jaden Baugh, their best running back, is in the portal too.
That's right.
So you got to, start to build your team around these guys probably leaving, and you got to expect Dallas Wilson to be your lead receiver. I know he was limited with injury this year, so I think John Summerall is going to be a little bit more focused on the Florida. I know he really wants Tulane to win, but I look at this game the regular season.
Around,
Tulane had a good chance. They kept it close in the third quarter, but they failed to convert on 3 straight fourth downs. That pretty much sealed the game.
Killed it,
And I just don't see a way that this Green Wave team can shut down Kewan Lacey. And then at the bottom, I know it's an SEC show, but I really do think this is going to be an upset. Miami is going to beat Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M just hasn't played anybody really all year, and the one time that they do play someone, you could say the Notre Dame game, but in my true and humble opinion, they should not have won that Notre Dame game because there was the most blatant hold on the last play of the game that honestly decided the fate of the Irish season there.
Right.
Because the 2 losses ultimately kept them out in favor of Miami.
Yeah,
so,
and they weren't really fully formed at that time. If you think about what Notre Dame was then as compared to what they were at the end of the season, you can make an argument that Notre Dame might have been way better.
Yeah, and I just don't think that – I think with Carson Beck being a former SEC guy and has played in these moments, Marcel Reed has never played in a spotlight like this. So I think Carson Beck's going to have the advantage there. And then moving on to the second round, I've got Texas Tech beating Oregon.
Okay.
I like the Ducks, but I think Texas Tech is an SEC caliber team. I really do. I mean, all that money going into the program, it's hard to hate. And then Indiana is going to steamroll Alabama. No matter who wins this game tonight, in my opinion, you're one and done. Like you win a game and then you're out.
Yeah.
Because Indiana, that's a juggernaut right there. And then moving along here, here's the one where people. I might lose some people.
This is what made my eyes go 5 miles wide.
Ole Miss, when you go back to Georgia's win streak, I'm going to throw out the first Alabama game because they won the second one, and that was just, in my opinion, a completely different Georgia team. Since Georgia rattled off that win streak, Ole Miss has had the most success against them. And you could make the argument that Ole Miss should have won that game.
Yeah.
But that was Trinidad Chambliss's first road game against 90,000 people. This is a different Trinidad now. If he played the first 3 games of the season, thanks Lane Kiffin for throwing Austin Simmons in there, or else we would have seen Trinidad in New York City.
Yeah.
I think Ole Miss wins that game. And it's so hard, absolutely so hard to beat a team twice. So that's why I've got Ole Miss in a little bit of a low-scoring battle there. Moving along, Miami, I know you got the nice upset win over Texas A&M, but this is where your season ends because Ohio State will just control the clock just like what they've been doing all year. They're going to control the clock, and it's going to be a pretty low-scoring affair there for college football standards. Moving on to the semifinals, and here's where it gets frisky. Texas Tech loses to Indiana because Indiana is still number one, and I really do think Curt Cignetti, this is the year for him to go all the way. He's got a better team this year. He's got a better quarterback. No offense to Curtis Rourke or anything.
Yeah.
He's got better receivers, better all-around team, and he knows how to win in the national spotlight. Just look at the Big Ten championship. And then here's the crazy one.
Yeah.
Ole Miss goes to the national championship, beats Ohio State. I do not like Ohio State making the national championship. And here is why. When you look at who Ohio State has played this year, go back to the Texas game.
Game one. Mm-hmm.
What did they win that game? 14-7.
Yeah.
You could make the argument that was the first game of the year, but then they played a bunch of cupcakes. No offense, Illinois, your team is garbage. You deserve to get blown out. You got blown out by the two best teams in college football. And then you go down some more, and then you see the Michigan game.
Mm-hmm.
And they really didn't score that many points against Michigan. They struggled in the beginning.
Right.
And I know it's a rivalry game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You could say all that, the elements and everything. This team, when they play somebody, doesn't really put up points.
Yeah.
And that's something that kind of concerns me. And then finally, when they actually do play someone good, like number one Indiana, they score 10 points.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if I can trust Julian Sayin in year one.
Yeah.
I think the benefit to Will Howard last year was that he had a little bit more experience coming over from Kansas State. I think Sayin's going to win a national championship, just not this year. And then my national champion's Indiana, because Indiana is still Indiana, and Hoosiers. Hoosiers!
Hoosiers over Ole Miss in the championship game. That is, this is a bold take right here. This is a bold take. I like it. A lot to unpack, and we'll revisit this later when I do my bracket. But no, I like it. I like the rationale behind it. Some of the scores are like, hey, kind of eye popping. Like
I know,
like the low scoring game. But you gave defenses for all of them, and pretty strong ones. And I think that if Ole Miss makes a national championship game, do you think that makes Lane Kiffin think a little bit harder about his decision and the amount of pressure that now goes to LSU if Ole Miss is in the championship game?
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, he's going to get money for it. I mean, he's got all of those incentives. He just sent those guys up to basically be walking billboards. I think Pete Golding, and we'll talk about Ole Miss here in a minute. Pete Golding is going to have a lot to prove in this first game, but if he can prove that he belongs, I think they're going to have all the confidence in the world. They know they should have beaten Georgia. It's just all going to depend on, can Pete Golding manage these close games being a first-time head coach, and is Trinidad Chambliss actually committed, because he keeps on being on the fence about his future, not totally understanding. Maybe I'll be there, maybe I'll weigh my options if I can get a waiver, but we'll see here. I've got Hottie Toddy going to the national championship, one of the hottest takes that anybody probably ever has.
Probably. I mean, really outside of Ole Miss, I don't know where else you'd find that pick, but